Hello and welcome to AccessWorld and our presentation on continuous data protection, otherwise known as CDP. Hi, I'm James Delaney, a pre-sales consultant at AccessWorld, and I've been working in the infrastructure and cloud industry for over a decade now. I'm here today to talk to you about the evolving tech landscape around malware and an effective protection method around allowing for an always-on customer experience. So with that in mind, let's take a look at what's happening right now. So going live, we can see here a great example of the global attacks that are occurring right now in real time. So this is a global map showing attacks that come in many forms, usually probing for open ports and other unknown vulnerabilities. At Access, we've seen an increase in cyber attacks, and reports into our support teams have increased quite dramatically over the last 12 months. So we put this down to a rise in business-related computer misuse offences. It's largely accounted for by computer malware, as well as recorded DDoS attacks over the past year. So UK is facing even tougher conditions as cyber attackers chase greater profits, usually in the form of Bitcoin and other such technologies to extract funds from you. So in this post-WannaCry world, if we remember WannaCry, quite recently in the news, both consumers and organisations will need to do more to protect their data, it being your most valuable asset, as well as minimising service outages as much as possible. So the last 12 months, so this is what the AccessWorld division have seen. So from 2017 through to 2018, we've seen cyber incidents increase by 85% in the last 12 months. So as you can see on this pie chart, you've got the visibility of scans and probes coming from outside, DDoS, which is a denial of service at 13%, but the lion's share is malicious code. And I'll show you a specific instance where we at AccessWorld can help using one of our tools in line with continuous data protection, so CDP again. So CDP can protect against viruses, worms, bots, trojans, malware, the full smorgasbord of attacks that hackers and alike can perform on your systems. So CDP allows this through the saving of changes through journals, along with tracking the corresponding file changes. And the biggest benefit to everyone here is the ability to restore data to a point in time, which is much more granular than traditional backups alone. And we've had reports from on-premise Access customers, and one example is HCM, who essentially couldn't pay their employees due to being DDoSed on their platform. So essentially it was a denial of service, and they just couldn't access it until that DDoS attack essentially was mitigated. And more recently, an RDP and Safe customer having to pay out £20,000 in Bitcoin just to release their files from their file server. I'm glad to say that in both examples we've migrated them to our cloud platform, and they've had no recurring issues since migrating, so that's good. That's down to our cloud services having DDoS mitigation inbuilt on all our transit links, as well as obviously everything being handled on the infrastructure side from up-to-date patches, as well as additional and more advanced protection in the form of disaster recovery like Zerto, and what I'm about to talk to in a second around the continuous data protection. So to set the scene, a tale of a zero-day exploit. So what is a zero-day exploit, and how does this happen, and what does it look like? So a zero-day attack exploits a previously unknown security vulnerability. Examples here are logic bombs that have been left on servers, left on a timer or a scheduled task to be activated at a later date for a malicious purpose, usually known as Trojans. And because the vulnerability is unknown, there is simply no vendor patch against this. In this sense, it's very much cat and mouse. But hope is not completely lost, even after you've been infected. So you've been hacked. but it's not too late. Using things like CDP, we can help combat this and get you back online as quickly as possible. So to combat a breach that's already occurred, continuous data protection can be used. As you can see on the tagline there, you can remove the fear from business continuity. So at Access, we've chosen what we think to be the best of breed application in the market today, and that's Zerto. And this has the ability for continuous data protection of your core services and servers. So in order to do this, a specified protected machine can be rolled back once protected up to an hour, 3 hours, 12 hours to a maximum of 30 days. This means if your system did get infected or hacked, you can roll back to a checkpoint with minimal data loss, almost at an instant, and this gives you and your customer protection across a much more granular time span than backups alone. So there's no restoring from tapes, there's no slow disks, and there's no worry over offsite WAN connections restoring backups. This is protection in real time. It's the only real way to protect from a more advanced threat like zero-day attacks without losing large amounts of data and downtime. So in this sense, it's a real advancement in the market. And with that in mind, as a general protection plan and staying safe, making sure your services are up for as long as possible, it's all about coming up with a pragmatic approach to protecting your services for your customers. So come and talk to us today. There's a few of us around on the Alto stand. We can talk to you about your cloud strategy, or specifically around CDP, offsite backups if you wish to maintain some of your services on site, as well as disaster recovery as a service and cloud infrastructure as a service. So hopefully we'll speak to some of you today, and thanks for your time.